and Hezbollah is a militant group that has, popular support. It's part of the Lebanese government. There's, 3 days of mourning right now in Lebanon and 5 days of mourning in Iran. That is a way to, show that respect to Nasrallah. And there were members of the community, the broader Middle Eastern community, who did join to mourn Nasrallah, who was assassinated just that night before the rally.
It's the law, and here our politicians came down pretty hard on those protesters. The Prime Minister said we do not want to bring radical ideologies and conflict here, while our Foreign Affairs Minister Penny Wong says the flags threaten national security and fuel fear and division. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I think that's what the government does. It goes and peddles this sort of rhetoric. I think it's dog whistling, to be honest, because we're seeing today in the news that some of the mosques in Sydney that are more from the Shia community, they're also holding events to mourn Nasrallah. And I don't think that it's right to harass community members because they held a flag that for them represents many things, even though the Australian government wants to reduce it to a representation of, an evil ideology.
I hear your defence of the terror group, as Sarah's mentioned. Nasrallah himself, when you read the background of this man, who's been a leader of that group for 30 years, has been involved in some of the most deadly terror attacks in the world. How can we defend people carrying photographs of him in the streets of Australia?
I don't think I've defended Hezbollah or people who are carrying his photo. I've just recognised that that is sometimes what people do. They carry photos in a nationalistic way of an assassinated leader who was assassinated with an airstrike that caused a massacre in Lebanon and 6 residential buildings to be destroyed. I think it's our duty to kind of provide an analysis that makes sense rather than just look at things from, a higher moral ground. Because if we do that, we won't actually reach any solutions.
As a protest organiser, would it be much easier for you if these things weren't done and weren't attracting all the attention? Would you, for example, call on people attending future protests not to bring them?
It is the reality on the ground that, allows actually for militant groups to gain popularity, because Israel has declared a war with Hezbollah, and that is the context that this flag was raised. I know that it's easier for us to just reduce the issues, but we cannot speak about war in binary terms and in very simplistic ways, because that is not going to end this escalation. So it's not my job here to moralize the issue and then lead to further demonization of these already victimized communities. And you and I can say, oh, this is, condemnable. How does that change the experience of being in a battlefield with bombs raining on you and your people?
All right, Tasnim, thank you very much for your time tonight. We'll watch the story from here.